Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I took the worst selfie ever with Dave Matthews Band. I'll talk about how I got here, and we'll talk about another year and another summer tour with Before These Crowded Streets, 4 years in a row, where every Before These Crowded Streets song has been played at least once. The D&B Post Show stream starts now.
It's your boy Concert Viz 34 back at home.
What up, what up? It's your boy Concert Viz 34.
Yep, so your boy Concert Viz 34 coming to you here.
What up, what up? It's your boy Concert Viz 34. Aria. Okay, so this is Aria, and just tell us a little bit about yourself and about your love for the Dave Matthews Band.
I've been a fan of the band since April 28, 1998, and if you recognize the date, that's when Before These Crowded Streets was released.
Alpine is definitely a better venue than Summerfest, but we'll take it. I think I've been going to shows for about 20-something years.
I always tell people, like, compare DMB to now to when I first started. And I got started, in my opinion, I feel like I got started late. Like, I was at the very end of the band's prime. I feel like that 03 to 06 was like the end of the prime. 07, 08 was like, you know, we're at the very end. And then when Roy passed.
But Dave really, this is the thing. Dave has put, Rashawn has been assigned the quarterback of this team. He is the coach, the play caller. He designs the jams. Dave just shows up and plays whatever he's going to play. New Hampshire, what up? Break free or die. Shout out Nashua. Shout out Hampton Beach. Portsmouth, what up? Laconia, what up? Shout out to Meredith. Concord, what up? Gilford, what up? Shout out Tingsboro, Massachusetts, Wagwan. Shout out Keene, New Hampshire. What up, what up? It's your boy Concert Viz 34, and what a show in Gilford, New Hampshire. And I did not expect this day to go as it went, and I'm not even talking about the show. Obviously, if you haven't seen already, I had an encounter with Mr. Dave Matthews earlier today, or yesterday, I guess, because it's tomorrow. But thank you guys for joining the post-show stream. So I want to start off there because I wasn't even expecting to run into Dave today. So how did I get there? I think that's the biggest question. Oh, how'd you get? And I am humbled. I am honored to be able to just, say hi real quick to Dave. And it starts with Buddy Strong watching my videos back in 2018, and I look back at some of those videos and I'm like rolling my eyes, and it's cringeworthy. And the production value, the knowledge, the confidence of, okay, this is what I believe. Um, and some of those videos, I'm like, I almost wish I didn't do them. But when he joined Dave Matthews Band and was learning the material, his algorithm ran into my page, capturing first the live shows that I had on my channel. I'm sure that Burning Down the House, which was from 2014 in Hartford, and some other videos that had gotten some decent views. He looked at those to try to learn the catalog because they were recent videos. These were from 2014 and 15 and 16, and so he's joining in 18 and is watching those. And so he got in contact with me, I believe it was 2023, and just said, hey man, I appreciate the videos. And long story short, we started, talking, and hey, before shows and after shows, things like that, just more like messaging, I should say, be specific. And so that's how we connected today. But before that, there was another show in 2024, the day before the Dave NATO. Was the first time I met Buddy in person. He said, hey man, let's chop it up, let's talk. And so we talked about everything outside of D&B. And so kind of getting to know Buddy outside of the band and, having some great conversations about music led to, hey, let's hang out today. And so we hung out and did some things. And before the show, and I was just like, I felt like I didn't belong. I didn't belong. But as I was literally about to go leave, he told me, hey, stay, don't leave just yet. If you can, stay. And then he walked me right into Dave's dressing room, and hey, I want to introduce someone to you. And I saw his videos when I was learning the music and all this. So then I got introduced to Dave. And at this point, like, it's right before, like, the show's about to start. Like, I don't want to tell this dude, like, my life story. I'm just want to be, hey, thank you, I'm out of here. And Dave's like, you want to take a picture? And I was like, okay. And so I'm fumbling my phone and trying to just do something real quick. Because again, I think the biggest thing with this again, once in a lifetime opportunity, seeing some other band members from afar, things like that, I don't want to be in the way. As much as I have, I have post show streams and record a lot of the stuff on the other side of the stage. Like, bro, they're about to play a full show. Like, who cares what I have to say or think or whatever? So, with that, got a quick picture, but spent a lot of time just, chopping it up with Buddy before the show. And you never know what a couple of videos on YouTube will bring. Again, I just feel humbled. That's it. But I don't know, man. Why me? I just feel very blessed and grateful to be able to have that opportunity. And tomorrow I go back to being I ain't going to be chilling backstage. I'm going to go back to being a normal fan and just being able to go and tailgate with some of you guys. And I'll be at the top of the lawn tomorrow at some point. But I'm sorry, I literally could not hang out because I was like, hey, you got to get here. You got to do this. You got to do that. And shout out to Dave's, the DMB security, the staff, everyone that I ran into was very kind. And I was very, very nervous because I'm like, I'm not part of the band. I'm just a fan. So that's how I got to the picture that I had posted just earlier. And again, it all starts with Buddy reaching out to me and just, I don't go around to hotels. I don't go around waiting out where the band is. he reached out to me and did this. So thank you to Buddy. Thank you to Dave. Apparently Carter has a son named Marcus too. So that's why he's like, oh yeah, I know Mark. So cool. I didn't know Carter. So maybe I am his son. That's kidding. Okay, I'm not Carter's son. I'm not Carter. Let me set the record straight. But shout out to Carter too and his kids. I think it's like Brianna and I think Nadia. I think I see them on IG a lot. But okay, so let's get to the show. Enough about I met Dave. Cool. Move on. This show, even aside from what happened before the show, like I figured, like, listen, I had this great experience. Even if it's a bad show, it is what it is. Or even if it's not what I expected, I think that's what it was. It's not what I expected. This show had the show flow that I think was missing from some of the recent shows that I've seen on, Couch Tour, on Volta, on other mediums. This is my first show of the year in person. There's always a stretch of 3 or 4 songs where you're like, okay. And I think that to be fair, the reason that it is that way is because Dave is trying to create yet another show where we have tour debuts. We have another show with openers, a different opener. So the streak is at 22 now. And with that, I think Dave has had some issue writing these set lists because you have this rarity. You're trying to slot things in different spots, and you get a squirm to end a show that honestly I was like, oh, this is kind of cool, but like 95% of the fan base thought it was weird. But I commend Dave for making the effort. But I think with Gilford, he found a way to just balance everything out. The show starts off with, and you guys know about my thoughts of Don't Drink the Water. I wish it was the slower tempo, all that. But Don't Drink the Water just set the tone for the night. It set the tone. Like, I saw the drop D from Dave and the flying V, and I knew it wasn't going to be Shake Me Like a Monkey. It could have been Shake Me Like a Monkey. But drop D and flying V, that's going to typically be Shake Me or Don't Drink. And so they start off with Don't Drink. And then, oh, you know what else? They were kind of doing that intro, that prelude or intro. And I was like, okay, it's definitely Don't Drink the Water. So they start there, and there's a lot of energy with that song. And let me know if the connection's lagging at all in the comments. But they start off with energy from Don't Drink the Water, and this is a song that should start more shows. There's some plugging and playing with some openers like Fool in the Rain that just it doesn't. And Fool in the Rain can be in a set and it gets the crowd engaged. But Don't Drink the Water set the tone for the night. Then you have You Never Know, and it's just like, oh, okay. And then you're like, okay, 2 great songs. Typically in this tour, it's like, oh, 2 great songs. Then you get a random song out of left field that isn't a hit and isn't a deep cut that engages the fan base. But nope, they went right to Break Free with that '06 outro. Second play of the year. And that just continued to push the momentum of like, all right, this is awesome. This is going to be great. Now, I will say the next 2 songs to me were one of the only low points I can really find in the show. And the reason was Hunger for the Great Light is it. And I know my friend's daughter, she's an adult now, but she loves this song. She had been chasing this song, and that's great. But Hunger for the Great Light just doesn't do any, like there's songs, like, again, I don't like Bayou, but Bayou lifts the crowd up. Hunger for the Great Light was kind of like, okay. But if that's the lowest point compared to some of the shows we had in the last couple of weeks, and I think it's just, again, the band trying to find what meshes together well, and that what's written on paper goes great on stage, and that's hard to balance that out. And so that's really the real, like, oh, Hunger, okay. And it's like, all right, there's our stand-up. Let's move on. Nope, another stand-up. Now, Old Dirt Hill got a little more traction from the fans there. And so that was better than Hunger. And then you get Typical Situation at the 6th spot. And I've been saying this, that take Jimmy thing out of certain shows and replace it with typical situation, and you have a better jam, you have a better song overall that highlights everybody, especially the trumpet and saxophone, especially the trumpet, really, if we're talking about it. And if I can go back to Break Free, I got to give Rashawn credit, because I do not like when he plays very, very loud and high registers. I think with that Break Free Fenway outro, he gets a little up there, but that Break Free outro is some of the best work he's done or added to this band. You know, that's where this is like the best of what this is to me. If I had a best of Rashawn Ross ideas, Break Free would be on there, right? And again, I think the trumpet sometimes can be too high up register, and the lower and more balanced it is in soloing, instead of just starting off and going loud, I think that's when D&B is at his best. And same thing with, I believe, is it Sugar Will? I think it's Sugar Will is another one that I like Rashawn on as well, where it's like, okay, yeah, keep doing that. Stick with that lane. But that did typical remind me. So again, another one where Rashawn, he fits in great. Then we get Broken Things. And what did I tell you guys? I thought some of the other two-night stands lacked Broken Things being played, right? And when's the last time? So the last time it was played was June 13th. So that's over a month ago. It should have, I thought, this is the other side of Dave is playing out the catalog. Instead of playing Come Tomorrow, just play Broken Things again. Play Snow Outside again. And I know some of those songs are coming back in this last week. Snow Outside coming back with Grand Rapids. Broken Things coming back tonight in Gilford. But these songs, I think, would have been better suited in some of the other shows prior to Gilford and in between their last plays from the South or elsewhere. And so, yeah, Broken Things is great. And you guys know I don't really like You and Me, but You and Me was perfectly slotted. You have a song like Broken Things that a lot of casual fans don't know. There were some casual fans that appeared to be behind me. And so when You and Me is played, it gets the energy back up. It gets the energy back up. And then we get to So Damn Lucky, and being in that crowd, right? I said this with Grand Rapids, the thank you outro that's done, I could do without it in any given show. But for the overall sake of the crowd, that's a moment that helps engage the crowd. So again, I don't need it, but the rest of the crowd needs it. And this is not, just because I met Dave doesn't mean I get a show about me. And so this, from a crowd perspective, really did get the fans engaged. And then you have Grace Is Gone, which is the best thing about Grace Is Gone is it allows the band to calm down, to get a little bit of a timeout. But they also are playing a song that was very, very popular, and it gets a lot of casual fans going. And so it works perfectly. You have this So Damn Lucky outro, and thank you for that, and you have all this energy build up, and then you have Grace to give them a little bit of a timeout in there. After that, you have Do You Remember? And the other part, me personally, the other part where I was like, man, was probably Do You Remember Let's Dance? But here's the thing about the live show. That's me. Again, not just about me. It's about the rest of the crowd. Do you remember there was, it was interesting because someone like next to me really was excited about it, or around me. And then everyone else was like, bro, what's going on? What is this song? And so this is a song that the band has always played pretty tight. They really know how to put it together. They don't ever really have flubs, because it's just a song that, hey, play Do You Remember? And they'll play it and it'll be tight. And so it did get, some people were excited. A lot of people were confused. But then you have really one of the loudest crowd pops that you had all night. You're setting people up to be relaxed, and then you give them Let's Dance, and Let's Dance went crazy. And so one thing about Gilford is you have local fans that love going to this pavilion, and they've been going even before the crowds of D&B filled up this place. I remember back in 2021, Getting tickets right by the soundboard that were released like the day of or the day before. And they sat there for a bit. They sat there. Now, they all, I think, were purchased, but they sat there for like a day and a half before they were purchased. Those days are gone. And so, but you have some local fans. And so a Bowie cover it landed well with the locals and the casual fans. Then we get to If I Had It All. Then we get, this is like this is why I still go to shows. Now, let's actually play some crowd audio. There were people behind me talking. Initially, I was like, oh my God. And I was like, this is why we have tape or audio. But I was like, what? How dare you, Dave? I was trying to get that from my friends in Camden. And then you give it to me. All right, so let's listen in. We have to skip through this. Also, shout out to my camera. I got a new iPhone. This thing, when I tell you the zoom on this joint, I had an iPhone. No, I had a 14 Pro Max. I had a really good phone like 5 years ago. But Lord have mercy. I don't like. I'm glad I finally upgraded. But this thing the zoom on this thing, it actually feels like an Android phone. It's like, wow, I can keep an iPhone, but it has an Android camera from 3 years ago. And yeah, it's a joke. Some of you get that joke. There's Android camera. Samsung has so much better cameras than Apple. Yeah, so see, that's talking in the middle of this. So I'm gonna have to get some tape or audio. I hope John was there or someone else. John Gordakowski. Let's listen in a little bit to this.
Sometimes I feel lost. Can't move my feet. Sometimes I can't move my feet. It seems if I'm stuck in the ground like a tree. If I can't even breathe. All of my screams that come whispering out, as if nobody can even see me. It goes. Sometimes I can't see myself. Sometimes. And again, I can't. If I had everything, if I had you, and I could give you your dreams, and I would shine.
Now, I'll tell you, I actually just learned, like, I don't know how, it's weird, like some DMB songs I just never took a jump for it. When I was making a parody video for my friends in Camden, I'm sorry you guys did not get it. I did not tell Dave to skip Camden and play it for Gilford. But that da 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 da, it's a very like mental tongue twister on your hand. So I can go to. So just see how his hand slides. It's maybe be hard to see, but when he goes da 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 da, you have to slide it you have to slide 9, then it goes to 10 on that low E string, and then you got to put your hand on the 9th fret of the A string, and then you have to do a hammer on, or like it's just it seems pretty. Sometimes it could appear easy, but to do that timing and sing, and the thing you're doing with your hand, your left hand, it's a pretty challenging thing to nail down. So if he hasn't played this in a while, first time since 2019, that's what I thought. I was like, I know it was Deer Creek. It was either 19 or 2022. Turns out it was 2019. But it's a hard song to play. Let's try to get a little further into this. I think what I loved about this song too, for the first time hearing it, is it just it's got a lot of like low end backbone to it, but it's not. Again, I think one of the things that sometimes the band does an overabundance of is play songs very, very loud as a very large wall of sound. And this did not, just like how you just heard that buildup, it has this buildup, but it's not all loud. It's like the tension is being released slowly, and it doesn't have to be really super loud. And I thought that was great. The sound tonight, even Buddy said the band on stage was like, they sounded great. I mean, no, the sound was great. Like the sound, like they were saying, they loved how it sounded, because as the band's playing, they're getting the music they're pushing out. It's coming back to them. Their in-ear mind, all that stuff was dialed in for them. And I felt the same way in the crowd. Now I was dead center by the soundboard, but even what was his name? I gotta find his name. But one of the couch, I was talking to this. The reason I also was late to getting home, it has nothing to do with Dave. I just talked. I talked to people about the band and about random stuff, and I was in the parking lot for like an hour and a half, or in the concourse and parking lot, just talking to people about Dave Matthews Band. Mr. Wesson from the Couch Tour. Let me see if I can find his first name. He's from Oklahoma, and we were talking about all sorts of stuff outside of TMB after the show. Randy Wesson, shout out to him. But he says he's a huge sound guy, live audio guy, and he said it sounded great. And he was streaming from the lawn. So even the lawn seemed to be dialed in, and sometimes the sound can vary depending on where you are, but I thought the sound was great tonight. I don't know what they did. And also it got really hot today. Now it was not listen, I was at the Tampa show in 24, and I've spent summers down South Jacksonville, and I've been to Miami in late May. You know, I know I've been to Georgia in July and August. So I know hot, like oppressive humidity. It wasn't like the humidity was not that bad. But even with the heat, which was uniquely hot for Gilford, it got up to I think 89 in Gilford today. It was supposed to be a little hotter, but sometimes that heat and humidity messes up the sound. It did not do that. The sound was phenomenal still. Like SPAC was really hot one year. I think that was the year I literally passed out. Or was it like that year? It meant like the sound was wonky, but the humidity definitely played a factor. Today, that wasn't the case. And also, shout out to Gilford's. Maybe this is new. I don't even know. Maybe they're never on because it's cooler. They had fans above on the Gilford roof. And when I tell you these fans, you felt immediately going into that pavilion that those fans were putting in work. Obviously, like before the Tampa roof had its issue and they just took it off, they had fans on that roof, but it don't do nothing in the Florida humidity. It was like the temperature was still in the upper 80s through the night, and it's still those fans on that roof, they actually brought coolness. I guess the fans are new. And again, it's hard for me to tell because again, there's been so many like cooler shows there. Even that like Live Track 69, like there was a thunderstorm and it brought the temps way down. So there would be no reason, but I guess Greg is saying those fans are new. But this venue, like when you compare, we're not supposed to talk good about it. This venue's terrible. It's like Mystic Lake. Don't go to Gilford. But seriously, every year they're adding something. Let's see what other people are saying in the chat. Okay, that's another. But yeah, the sound was great. So that was if I had it all. I want to, hopefully, if there's tape or audio that comes out in the next week, I'll try to put some more of these up. There was some talking during it, like you guys could hear it in that video clip. There was some talking, but I don't know. Let me know in the comments where you were in the crowd. I mean, I think it could have been also where I was in the back of that dead center. I was in the back of I was center pavilion, the first the back of the front of the center pavilion seating. So I was almost at like, I turn around and look up and I could see the second level soundboard and seating, mid-level pavilion seating. And so this was probably one of the best views I've had of a show. Yeah, I think this was probably one of the best that I've had, if not, just because there were some people shorter than me right in front of me, and I'm only 5'7", so. But it just was the lighting, the sound, everything was great tonight from this band. But again, don't go to Gilford. Go to Deer Creek, go to Alpine, go to any other place but Gilford. You don't even have the PTO for it because it's middle of the week. What else? If I had it all. So after that, they do What Would You Say in Mercy. Now, I think some of the shows that have had What Would You Say or Mercy, they didn't have as good sets as tonight. And so if you get a What Would You Say at the end of a set, you're like, I mean, listen, it's a fan. I mean, fans were singing for it, but I think for fans, if you're like me and you're looking for deep cuts, if the set it just isn't giving you enough balance or flow, and then you get What Would You Say, it's like, it's cool, but it's like, and I love singing to it, but it's like, okay, whatever. But because you just had If I Had It All, if the cool off song is What Would You Say, that's great. And then Mercy was played. And again, it's interesting because I don't know, I never liked Mercy outside of that version from Germany with Grazing in the Grass interpolation. It didn't seem that bad tonight. And again, maybe it's because this show actually had some other moments where it was bangers. Maybe because after Mercy, you had Spoon. And so I don't consider What Would You Say in Mercy a double whammy. I think What Would You Say in the context of this show, in giving the casual fans another song to sing, was great. I think some of these festival-like shows where you have cookie cutter sets and then you have What Would You Say, I think that's where it's like Let's see if we can go back to the last performance of What Would You Say. Let's see, it was this is Grand Rapids. Is this night 1 or night 2? It's night 2. Oh yeah, because Dave had the false start. He was given the drop D guitar, I think, instead. Oh no, was it the drop D or was that the string broke? I think the string broke for that one. Yeah, that was the one I think the string broke. Not the drop D. It was the string broke. Yeah, because that was on Volta. Yep, that was the string. The string broke. And then he got the same guitar, standard tuned guitar, like the second version of it. He has two of most guitars, so they have one battery pack that that amplifies the sound or signals to the amp. Or if the string breaks, there's another one that's identical, that looks identical, and then Craig has to replace the string on the one that's broken or the battery pack on that. Maybe it was the one before that. What was the one? There was one, I feel like the last time. Let's go to the plays. You know what's crazy? This hotel Wi-Fi is working better than Saturday. Well, it's because Saturday night at my house, I don't know what's going on, but that's 2019. Let's get over. Was it this one or was this Deer Creek? Was this Deer Creek night 1? What would you say? Or night 2? Well, they played shotgun at that. I don't know. I feel like there was one that it just felt like What Would You Say? It was like, okay, you had a bunch of mess or confusing show flow, and then you did What Would You Say? This show, to come off If I Had It All, and this song that you, again, being in this room, there were a lot of fans who just as you would expect, that didn't know the song. It's Gilford. Like, this is a midweek show, so you're gonna have some of that. And so, what would you say got the crowd back engaged? So I think that was a good play for this. And then we have, after Mercy, we have Spoon. And Spoon completes Before These Crowded Streets. It was played in Memphis, but Memphis, it technically was not a summer tour show. Like, even the social media for the band said, like, the summer tour starts with this show. And it was like the Houston show. So Spoon had been played this year, but Spoon just was everything. I just love this song, and it's been played so much in the Northeast. We have been very fortunate in New England, in the New York City. I think even parts of upstate New York with SPAC. I have heard, this was my 5th Spoon, right? First one was in Hartford, 2013. And a lot of the other 4 have been more recent. And so then you go from Spoon to So Right. And then you go from So Right to Warehouse. And so it's like, again, the momentum, at least for me, right? Casual fans were probably confused. And I did see somebody, they already got piled on. But they said, like, the set was mellow. Like, I'm not going to say their name and all that. Like, they were like, oh, this show's mellow. And then they were like, I'd rather hear Cornbread tomorrow. And I was like, right, hey, watch your mouth. But they really did get, and for Facebook, like, this was on one of the New Hampshire, and that's their opinion, right? I think some people want the cornbread, this, the amp up. And you could say this show had, it had Don't Drink as a right out the gate high energy song, but it didn't have, you could say Warehouse too, but to have If I Had It All and all this, like, there wasn't like a You Might Die Trying. And I think this was good that's why I like this show. Cause it was like, it just, not everything has to be wall of sound, but I think, well, that's my opinion, but I think a lot of the fans that are casual, that like the Let's Dance, that like the Don't Drink the Water, they want a show to be all high energy. This is also where the eras of the band, the D&B eras, can clash. And even though I'm somebody who's, 2012 was my first show, 05 is when I started getting into the band. There's a huge gap there between when I start listening and when I go to my first show. But a lot of newer fans, they started going to shows during Big Whiskey. And even longtime fans fell in love with the band changing its identity with Big Whiskey and having these songs that are just like push out wall of sound, fun, but really loud rock songs. And then you have fans who grew up with an acoustic percussive band that didn't have Tim Reynolds at every single show. He would come for tours, or Dave and Tim would play. There was not Rashawn Ross playing trumpet. There was no trumpet in D&B, even though you may have a trumpet guest here and there, right? There was not a permanent trumpet player for the band. And so all those things considered, some fans want the Cornbreads. Fans who started getting into the D&B in the mid-2000s started going to shows, the Cornbreads, and some other songs. Even a song like Can't Stop, which I don't like people are like, oh, this is what's new. And they're like, oh, I like this. And so they got in the band for those high energy songs. I didn't. I like the jazz. I like dark. Like, I like What You Are, but What You Are is not this, like, it's not as loud and piercing as Cornbread, especially live. Like, in the studio, What You Are is a whole experience. When you listen to it live, it doesn't pierce like Cornbread. Tim and that slide guitar, they go like you really push us through, and people love that stuff. They get a couple Coors Lights or Miller Lights, and that guitar slide hits differently than someone like me who's at the show sober. Amy asks, has they played Time Bomb? They have not played Time Bomb. Is that Amy from Iowa? If so, I hope you're well. All right, so that's the main set, and then to come out with some Devil tour debut. We got 3 tour debuts today, and every one of them was good. That's the other, and that's my opinion, right? I could say that's my opinion. You know, like I said, Can't Stop and Come Tomorrow, like that type of stuff. I was like, bruh, no, leave it away, David, leave it in the cupboard, lock it away. This show had every tour debut was solid in my opinion. And again, someone who's there for the high energy, they may disagree. But this is the type of show that this is where I can walk home happy, even forget what happened before. This is a show where people walk. Some people who were like, Camden was good, but it just felt like something was missing. And it wasn't. They played shock. They played a lot of the stuff. Again, everything I've learned from this year about myself is the show flow matters more than just having these random stats of openers and closers. They've been It was fun to watch this record be broken. Last year's record of 19 straight shows with, in the middle of the tour, there were 19 shows where they didn't repeat an opener. Like that run was great, and then it got passed at 20, and now it's at 22. That's great. And I thought the opener tonight was great, but I think now that Dave has tried certain things out, we shouldn't have a Squirm Encore closer ever again. We shouldn't have a Fool in the Rain opener. Just open with JTR, David. Right? I think he's learning, because this set is an example. This was, to me, the best night one of the tour as far as the way he organized the set. You could argue that some of these West Palm Beach night one had violin, right? But I thought this was the best night one. Amy says she went to the Morton Salt venue in Kansas. Yes, that was a show that, to me, I would take that show over any of head to head over any of the Deer Creek shows, but a lot of that had to do with Jake Rennick Simpson and what he did on the bartender, the Big Eyed Fish, but the bartender was it. Zach, hey Zach, I see you in the chat. Try to message me. I don't know if you're on any social media, or just come to the top of the lawn tomorrow or today. Gilford night 2, I'm going to try to be at the top of the lawn from like 6:30, 6:45 to 7. I'm going to be down from 5:30 to 6:30. I'll be supporting Mount Pleasant, my friend Nikki G, Nikki G is the reason I went to my first gorge. And I saw him tonight. It was great to see him. His band is going to be playing again at the Little Hazy stage. They played last year night 2. And you've seen him in my opening of my recent multicam from Gilford last year. Support my boy Nikki G, 5:30 to 6:30. Come say hi. Even in the middle of the set, come say hi, say what up. And like I said, I literally was, the reason this stream is so late, I was talking to DMB, like 5 or 6 different DMB fans. I love talking, I can't forget, dang this post-show stream. I just love talking to people about music and life, right? Randy and I were just talking about, climate and Texas and Connecticut. Like, bro, it's just, I love this. I'm an extrovert in that sense. I could talk to anyone. Well, not anyone. Man. Some people, I ain't gonna talk to someone who's gonna try to rob me. But yeah, all right, I gotta go. Don't rob me, right? But I really enjoy that. And this has been great to just get outside again and talk with so many fans. And well, not so many. I talked to like 3 or 4 fans, but still, it's like that's all. Like I could do that all day. Um, so Encore, Some Devil, Gray Street. This is a great example. Like, yes, Gray Street has closed shows forever, but after the show we had, I think the encore becomes just don't do something mad, crazy, like weird. Better safe than sorry. You want to mitigate risk like an insurance company. Gray Street closes out. All the gems in the main set, I don't care that Gray Street closed it out. And I love Gray Street, by the way. I love singing that song. And the third verse got cheered again. And I think the third verse, I don't care that some people are sick of it already, but like the fact that Dave is remembering stuff or whatever is happening, whether it's Dave, Rashawn, whoever, because Rashawn does organize some of these jams to have that '06 Fenway joint come back. I think that's Rashawn. But for Dave to remember that third verse and get it in place, it's just, that's huge. To this day, it's still huge as Gray Street has that third verse, which to me makes the song. And so we should never take that for granted because there have been so many ideas that Dave has done and he just doesn't know. And listen, I think that's why one of the reasons that Dave is who he is and he's able to play these shows nonstop is because at least when it comes to DMB, now he'll worry about, I understand his worry about the world because he came from apartheid South Africa. I've been to South Africa. I've took a tour with the political prisoner showing me cells in Robben Island. So I understand Dave's passion, whether you agree or disagree or think, hey, he's a rich guy trying to say this stuff. The fact that he grew up in an apartheid state and felt upset about that until he moved, like obviously moved to America eventually, but still had family he would visit back there. The fact that he grew up it shapes a lot of his passion for world stuff. But like, anyway, going back to this, he doesn't care. Like he doesn't even know what my video, and I don't care. Like I think Buddy said something about, oh, this is, he does the video that, like, Dave doesn't even remember, but he has so much going on before a show. But the fact that he remembered that third verse of Great Street, that's what I was talking about. That's huge because he just has so much on his plate, so many lyrics he has to remember, so many different things. And so he went back and learned that, like got that third verse back after a decade plus, I think 2 decades of it really. 2002 is when they stopped that late night show. Anyway, it's been a long time that we didn't have it. So I thought this was a good night one. I'm hoping at this point, my only hope is that like we don't get a show that's plagued with like cornbread and come tomorrow and can't stop and buy. Like, I think the overabundance, to use Dave's lyrics of Sugar Will, too much of a good thing, maybe not so sweet. I just hope this tomorrow set is not overloaded with like a bunch of meh songs. Like if it's like Space Meh, Shake Meh, and Come Tomorrow, like it's just about, I don't want there to be a bad run. There's gonna be songs that aren't my favorite, but they get the crowd going. There are gonna be deep cuts that I love dearly that are played tomorrow that maybe most of the crowd in the area by me is not gonna understand it or appreciate it. Maybe they go back later that week and they listen back. And they do. The deep cuts have to grow on certain people. Not everyone wakes up and says, "Oh, I love deep cuts." It has to grow. They're deep cuts for a reason. They're not meant to be a lead single. And so for popularity's sake, certain things are just not going to hit. All right. Someone says, am I going to SPAC? Yeah, I'll be at SPAC this year in Hartford. Those will be my other shows. If you guys have recording, so here's the recording schedule. My hope is that, so Gilford will not have any Volta streams. I know this because the team is not there. And I talked to Zach, and so they're not going to have a Volta stream. I know they were in Grand Rapids. So I know with 100% confidence that there's no Volta stream tomorrow. So my goal is to try to capture the full show like I did today. And if you guys have videos for any Gilford shows, you can message me on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, Concertviz34, or at me on Twitter if you're not, like if I didn't follow you, I think you can't message me or whatever, but at me on Twitter if need be. I preferably, I even saw I have to respond to some people at some point tomorrow morning. I've already gotten videos in from tonight, and I think some people just sent them through like Instagram and Facebook, and it's gonna degrade the quality. So I'm gonna give you guys Dropbox links to my Dropbox account to upload those videos so that I get the best quality for the sake of the multicam. So Guilford is both. We'll see what happens with SPAC. Do they decide to have that night 2 live stream? If that's the case, I will not record the full show. I may have some clips here and there, possibly, but the whole point of what I've been trying to do, or at least give my voice with Volta, is so that I don't have to record these shows. I don't mind like today and tomorrow, or today and yesterday, Guilford night 1 and 2. Okay, I don't mind recording the full show. I did that tonight. In moments I can focus in and just hold my hand and know where it is, and sing and have a ball. And other times I do have to focus in and try to get the camera shot. It does take away, but the point is, I don't want to be doing this. I want there to be Volta streams or whatever stream, like anything, live streams of with the video, audio, and all that cool jazz. That is the goal. Make no mistake, it's not for me to get all these views and, oh yeah, thank you, Concert Vids, you made a video, you're special. No. The whole point is, yes, these amateur vids do they do make a difference and they can get a lot of views. But if you just have live streams of your shows with pro shot video, it's just that's the peak. That's the best. And so anyway, stay tuned for SPAC and for Hartford. I don't know what's right now, just too early. Unless someone knows something I don't know. I really can't say, oh yeah, they're definitely gonna stream. And there's factors behind the scenes, and I respect that. But I'm just gonna be ready for every show. And if not, if they have a live stream, again, peace. I'm gonna be dancing. I'm gonna get them the whatever. Okay, that was corny, but I'm gonna be moving. What else? The poster was by Daniel Danger, and he was on stat. Like, so he had a poster for SPAC. He was there. Daniel lives in Western Mass. I was fortunate enough to go to one of his exhibits, or at least works in Western Mass. But I would assume he lives there too, or close. But let's go to the poster. I'm gonna pull it up on Twitter, if I can. Now, this poster has a drive-in, and the drive-in it's a still kind of freeze of the Crash Into Me video. So this drive-in, there's a drive-in in New Hampshire that it was kind of named, or kind of not named after, it was kind of referenced after, but they put Crash Into Me there just as a DMB nod and all of that. So I thought this poster was incredible. Obviously, I didn't grab a poster, and my mind was honestly just like, oh my gosh, this is what is happening. What is my life right now? And so, and I'll just say this too. It was cool meeting Dave, but everything outside of that, like just being able to like hang, like, and talk some, not even talk about DMB, talk about other stuff and all that other stuff. Like that was like wow. Like meeting Dave was a cherry on top, but like everything else before that, again, Not going to happen tomorrow. May not happen. Who knows? But to have one day where it's like, okay, wow, this is really cool. But anyway, all that. So I didn't have time. Like, I saw people line up for poster, but I'm trying to get over to this area. Then I, got, someone knows, okay, he's here, right? We let him in. Like, I was not thinking about this poster, but I thought this poster was great. Daniel Danger does a lot of research into his posters, and him being from New England, he does great with the New England posters because he knows the history or is researching or has researched the history in the past for various reasons. And so you get a little bit of history combined with art, and this is a great poster. And it makes me kind of mad because it's like, dang it, now people are going to be like, oh, look at what Gilford got. We got to come over. Like, nah, Gilford's full. There's no more room. All right, I'm just kidding, but still, this is a fun. This week is starting off with great run. I just hope that the momentum continues. Nugs is going to be next day, so today is this 15th as I'm recording at 2:25 a.m. But like, you should expect audio by the end of the night. SiriusXM is going to be playing. They already said with Gilford is 8 p.m. tomorrow. They're going to be playing Gilford Night 1 on SiriusXM tomorrow evening. So don't get it confused. It's not Gilford Night 2. They're going to be replaying Gilford Night 1, which, hey, man, replay this joint for everybody to hear with soundboard audio, especially those who may not have Nugs and just can go on have DMB radio. I think that's great. So you will see like one replay, if not a couple more. But I know at least it's the SiriusXM replays. Like, they are going to be like, you get it that next day and that's it. Move on. If you want the content, to be able to stream it, the audio, the Nugs app is where you're gonna be able to do that. SiriusXM is gonna give you one free one if you have the time, or you can plan ahead and look at social media presence. You'll be able to see when, okay, this is when it's coming on SiriusXM. This is one and done, or two and done, or whatever it is. But I believe it is one and done for SiriusXM. But the contract where you can stream things over and over and over is going to be for Nugs. But poster was cool, and Daniel signed the posters, did different doodles on them for fans. And I'll tell you this, man, Daniel Danger, I went to an exhibit the weekend of my wife's birthday, and she's an art. I realized the art was not her style, and I should have picked a different thing if I was going to do art. But nonetheless, Daniel Danger at his art exhibit, he told people, hey, if you bring in a poster of mine, I'll sign it. So people brought in Fish posters and Dave Matthews Band and some other posters, and he signed every single person's poster that showed up to the exhibit. And that's the type of guy he is. He's very interactive with the fans, and he did it at SPAC last year. Now this year he's doing Gilford. We'll see if he does that again at another Northeastern venue for next year. We'll see, like a Hartford or somewhere else. Anyway, that is all I got. I need to get some sleep, but I want to close out with some video of Gray Street, and that'll be the show. Now, I have a lot of audio from tonight. I'm glad my new phone has much larger hard drive. I have plenty of room on this new phone, but I had like 256 gigs on the last one, and so I had to do a lot of deleting and transfer and deleting, and I don't have to do that anymore. So let's close out with Gray Street. And again, I want to touch up some of this with tape or audio because, certain videos won't come out. Like, I may make some initial single cam videos, but I'm likely going to wait for the tape or audio because there was just a little slight stuff going on, and it happens at most shows, people talking in quiet times, and it is what it is. All right, without further ado, we'll close out with the Gray Street. I was able to scan this and see I had it in full, and it's good to go. So enjoy this Gray Street. It's your boy Conserviz34. Again, I appreciate all the well wishes, all that stuff, man. This was a great day, and this is show number 7 for me, and I'll never forget it. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, Dave. Thank you to the DMB team. And again, tomorrow I'll just be a regular old person chilling on the tailgate, chilling on the lawn, and I like it. I like it like that. I love hanging with you guys, and I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Top of the lawn, right by like the fence. I'll be up there somewhere, hopefully, if it doesn't fill in too fast. And after the performance from Mount Pleasant, but it's your boy Conserviz34. Let's close out with this Gray Street, and I'm gonna take myself off so you guys can see the thing in full.
Doesn't listen.